Alright, this is HuskeHardcore here. Gonna give you my thoughts about the Broncos Bears game happened yesterday. Um, Real exciting game at the end. Was able to pull it out. First time in a long time. It really felt like real Mile High magic. Maybe I don't remember anything like that since the old Mile High days. So that was really nice to see. Hard to watch. It's hard to watch those games because things aren't going good. But boy, at the end of the game, there really is something special that went on there yesterday. But also, there was a lot of things that got me really upset um, throughout the game. We'll go ahead and get into that a little bit. I'll go ahead and go with some stats from yesterday's game. Tebow went 21 for 40, 236 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Had a lot of drops. Demaryius Thomas dropped three or four passes. One would have been a long touchdown. That was kind of hard to see. Had a great game last week. This week, had a pretty bad game. Came through at the end with some couple big catches to help us get the win, but the game shouldn't have even been close. Well, it would have been close, but shouldn't have been as remarkable as that comeback had to have been if he would have caught a few balls. Decker had a drop or two. These drops are killing us every week. I know last week they were saying something about coming out of a left-handed, the ball spins the other way. I don't care. I don't believe that. I've caught balls from left-handed people, and to me, it hasn't been very much different than anything else. If the ball's in your hands, you have to catch that ball, and so his numbers a little skewed. I mean, if all those catches were made, his completion percentage definitely would have been better, and he would have thrown for over 300 yards yesterday. So decent game by Tebow. Had a long stretch there where they were like, well, he's had incompletions. I don't remember the exact number, 11 straight passes, but like I said, some of those hit people in the hands, and it wasn't quite his fault. A little bit of miscued numbers there, like there is every week when it comes to Tebow. Um, Rushing, Tebow led the team, 12 attempts, 49 yards. McGahee, 17 attempts, 34 yards. Jeremiah Johnson had 2 for 18. Lance Ball, 1 for 13. Spencer Larson, 1 for 5. And Demaryius Thomas, 1 for 5. Bears did a decent job defending the run all day. We were able to get over 100 yards still, but the Bears defense did what they do. They game planned very well. We'll get more into that here in a minute. Still were able to run the ball somewhat effectively, and it was nice to see. Demaryius Thomas had 7 receptions for 78 yards. Could have had another big game like he had last week if he could have caught 4 more passes, however many it was that he dropped. Matt Willis, 4 for 75. Lance Ball, 4 for 37. Eric Decker, 3 for 33. Jeremiah Johnson, 2 for 11. Willis McGahee, 1 for 2. Not bad at all. Like I said, got a lot of yards for Tebow, 236. Could have been over 300 if things would have went a little better for us. Defensively, we had a pretty decent day. Marion Barber did run for 108 yards on us. Bell had 40 yards, and Haney had 11. More rushing yards than you'd like to see, but they ran the ball quite a bit, and it was a kind of a bend but don't break defense like always. They got some yardage. Most of the time we were able to force them to punt. When they got their touchdown run, it was set up by a great run back by Devin Hester. I guess you guys didn't get to see it because I tried to make my Minnesota recap last week, and I don't know. Hopefully this goes through today, but something is going on with my computer where it's not working out. But one of the things I said is that we better not kick the ball to Devin Hester, and Did a pretty decent job. He did get out for that one, and it looked like he was going to take it to the house. Good play by Quentin Carter to kind of force uh, Hester back into the middle of the field and able to get a hand on him, slow him down, so we were able to tackle him. But they did go down the field, and Barber had the touchdown run. Um, Haney only had 115 yards passing. He completed 12 of 19, pretty decent percentage for him. No interceptions. I thought Chris Harris was going to catch that one there right before halftime and take it to the house, and I think he did too. It was kind of, it just popped out. The receiver was able to get a hand on it. But the Bears played mistake-free football all the way there until overtime. So it was pretty decent job by our defense. Don't have my defensive stats in front of me here. Instead of writing them down, I'm just looking at the Broncos website, and they don't have them up. But I believe we had probably about 5 sacks around there. DJ Williams had 2. He had a great game, all over the field, pass defense, run stopping, the sacks. Good job, good game by DJ Williams defensively. Pretty good job by our defense. Can't be too mad at them. The Bears only had 245 yards total offense. Now take it, they didn't have Cutler in the game or Forte, but we kind of game planned around that offensively. I think we could have scored more points, and that's where I'm going to go on and talk about my little tangent. Mike McCoy, you're killing me. Killing me. Now, I understand that the Bears, our defense was going to do pretty much what we did, and we didn't want to have any turnovers, and we wanted to run the ball a lot and play the field position game, which the Bears were doing the same thing, and actually most of the time the Bears seemed like they were in better shape field position-wise, but you're killing me with your play calling, Mike. It sucks. It's like we won't let Tebow throw the ball unless we absolutely have to. And I will give Mike this a little bit. I mean, if there wasn't so many drop passes, like I said, we would have been up, and then it would have been all right for us to run the ball more. But even in that fourth quarter, the drive, I was just saying the whole fourth quarter, put Tebow in shotgun, let him decide if he wants to run or throw, and heck, it was 7 minutes into it until he finally really unleashed Tebow and let him throw the ball consistently. With nobody in the backfield, don't call the Tebow draw. Like I said, the design play, if Tebow sees the run, let him run. There were times where on first and second down we were still running the ball, and then when it came third down, Tebow would see a little bit of hole. Urlacher did a good job of spying him and stopping it. But if that was our first down call, then we would have 2nd and 5s, 2nd and 4s, and we could have done the same thing. Just let Tebow drop back and decide if he wants to run or throw. The play calling is just horrible. I'm not going to say horrible, but very, very frustrating. Tebow, when he did get time to throw the ball, I will say the Bears were in the prevent late in that game, but he still got it done. In the overtime, the Bears weren't in the prevent anymore, and he still threw the ball pretty consistent, some good passes to get us into field goal range. Excuse me. It's just, it kind of baffles me a little bit, especially against the Bears, where let me see if I have this written down from last week's video that you guys didn't get to see. I don't have their pass defense. The Bears' overall defense is ranked 20th in the league, which really isn't super. I mean, it's in the bottom half of the league, but they are in the top 8 in run defense before this week started. So obviously, if this team has a good run defense, and they were stopping our run, McGahee didn't have to do a good job, wasn't able to get going at least. throw the ball against the Bears, and it to me that's simple. When you got a team that has a really good run defense, they're 20th overall, so their pass defense. I don't have the number. I don't know why I didn't write it down. Um, it's got to be pretty bad to drop them all the way down to 20th overall in yards per game. So you would think the pass would be more into it, especially with Urlacher spying Tebow. Urlacher's not dropping back into coverage. He's just watching him. I think they even had two people watching Tebow for parts of the game. So that's you got the numbers. Throw the ball down the field, and maybe I'd like to say that we would have threw it more if those passes weren't dropped. But it just kills me. The game shouldn't have even been that close as it was, but it was a good win. We were able to come back remarkably. The onside kick, I thought we were going to get. It was a beautiful onside kick, and like I said, sure we came back and we beat the Jets at home earlier, but this was real mile high magic. That's something we ain't seen for a long time. Marion Barber getting pushed out of bounds to stop the clock. The fumble at the end of the game, which gave us the ball back in overtime, which I'm really happy that happened because the catch that Barber had, I don't think it was a catch. I think it was trapped. It was the booth review since it was in overtime. Bears went up there and got a playoff right away, so the booth didn't have time to overturn it or look at it. But I think Barber trapped the ball. It looked like to me. It was really close. It would have been nice to get a couple more angles to see if that happened. So when we got that fumble, to me, it kind of seemed like things were made even. And then, like I said, Tebow, when we went into overtime, a buddy of mine called and I go, I bet this game's going to end at a 10-10 tie because I don't think Mike McCoy will let Tebow throw the ball unless we absolutely have to. And in overtime, when you're not trailing, you don't absolutely have to. And fortunately for us, McCoy did let Tebow throw the ball in that overtime. And first possession, got it down into field goal range. And Prater had the big kick to win the game. And boy, that 59-yarder to send us into overtime was a beautiful, beautiful kick. I mean, he could have. That would have been an NFL record. He had plenty of leg on it. Both teams' kickers were just booting the heck out of that ball last night. No wind in that altitude. They was flying. So it was a good win for us. It was a win that I feel a lot better for us and our chances into the playoffs. With Raiders losing, we now have practically a 2-game lead in the AFC West, 3 games to go. And boy, for a little while, it sure looked like things were going to be really good for Denver yesterday because Houston ended up coming back and winning that game against Cincinnati real late, pretty much last play of the game. For a while, it looked like Washington might have been able to beat New England. And if those would have happened, I mean, we wouldn't be playing for playoffs. We'd be in a chance for a first round bye in the playoffs, which would be really good for us. And I mean, there's still the chances. I haven't looked at New England's schedule or Houston's schedule, so Houston without the receiver and the quarterback, they could drop a couple games. We got New England next weekend. So that'll be a big game. That'll put us 1 game behind them, and if they can lose one more, we might not just be the last placed division winner and playing for a wild card game. There's a chance that we could get that first round bye. We need to have that win next week if there's any possibility of that. So we got a little something to play for, and it's a happy day. I would have been a lot more happy if Denver would have won by more than 3.5. That would have kept my 3-game parlay in action. So I lost my parlay by a half of a point, which would have been a big payday for me. But still had a pretty decent payday. The Broncos won. Pretty much we'll have the division wrapped up with as long as we can win One more game, we should have the Raiders knocked out. I'm not sure how the tiebreaker system would go with San Diego if they were to win out and we were to drop a game. Uh, but at the same time, I think the Chargers have. Don't hold me to this. I think they said yesterday that they have Green Bay so coming up next week. So things are looking really good for Denver. We should be in the playoffs. We should have a home playoff game, and I guess I'll just end it right there. Hopefully, I'll come back later on this week and have a little sports talk and a Ron Paul video. And hope you all have a good week. Big game next week against New England. Go Broncos.